I'm going to show you how to tell if a dichotomous nominal variable like gender, where there's only two options, is acting as a moderator between two continuous variables. So I always thought that if you had a dichotomous categorical variable working as a moderator, all that meant was this, that if a relationship between two continuous variables is significant for one of the levels of the group and not the other, that made it a moderator. So I'll say that again. I always thought that a binary categorical variable, I always take gender, that if the relationship was significant for females but not for males or vice versa, that would make that gender variable a moderator between therapy and depression. So let me show you real quick what I did in SPSS. Okay, hold on. So here are my variables, right? Gender, and right, 1 is female, 2 is male. Therapy sessions, that's scale. Depression is scale. I made a female dummy, so only the ones will be marked as a female, and then the males are 0, and vice versa. Male dummies, the females get marked with a 0, the males are a 1. I centered the therapy variable. I created a product variable between the therapy centered times the females only. Did the same thing for the males only. Okay, I got it all set up to go. But the first thing I did was I basically just split the file. Down here I go to split the file. I do it for gender. And then I simply run the regression like this. Analyze regression linear. DV, depression, IV, therapist sessions, or number of therapy sessions. And I know it's going to give me results for the males and results for the females. All going to be separate. So I'm figuring if one is significant and one is not, I don't care about the rest of this stuff right now, then that would make the gender a moderator because it's only true for one of the levels of the group. So let's go down here. And so males and females, let me move this over for you. So it looks like it is true for the females, right? It's significant for the females. Huge R squared, right? 0.198. But for the males, not so much. R squared is 0. And the sig value is crap. So in other words, I know going ahead of time that the relationship between depression and how many times they see a therapist is significant for women, but not for men. All right, now I'm going to go back to the old nitty gritty. I always have to remember to unsplit a file. I'm the worst at that. So put that back into, just hit reset. Okay, so now we're going to use everybody, and we're going to run this thing to check for a moderator. Go to Analyze, Regression, Linear. Right, depression. Let's just say reset. All right, depression is the criterion. I'm going to put in centered therapy. I'm going to do next. I'm going to put in the female dummy coded. And I'm going to do next. And I only want, the important stuff for now. Not important, but you know what I mean. Click OK. So I'm looking at the two different summary boxes right off the top here. So this is strictly the centered therapy, which I know by itself is significant, right? And then with the adding the centered data of the female only, it is not significant, okay? So that kind of is making my eyebrows go up because I know there's a difference between males and females, but that's not reflecting here in the second row here, second model. And really don't care about the ANOVAs, but I do go to the coefficients box down here. And it's the same thing, right? The therapy centered by itself is significant. There's a significant correlation between therapy and depression. But when I stick in the centered variable for females, it's not significant. So that means there's no difference. So what I did was I went back in and I switched it around. And let me get all this stuff out. Previous. So I leave that there, boom. And then I change it to male dummy. Wait a minute, get out of there, you. Click next. And then I added the male dummy in there, and I get the same thing. I even get the same numbers. So that's what's confusing me. And I was just hoping that if you had any kind of insight what's going on, I think I know the answer now. Even though there's a significant, if it's significant for one level of a dichotomous variable but not the other, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's a moderator. So that's what I got to look into. And real quick, I'm gonna use this Hayes thing. Pretty handy. So depression, right? I'm on model 1. That's a moderator. Depression DV, therapy sessions is the IV. Female dummy coding. You know what? I can probably stick in the actual gender here for categorical variables because it knows how to do that stuff. And click OK. And up pops the output. So DV, depression, IV number of therapy sessions, and possible mediator is gender. And so I always look down here. And so it says a couple of things here, but this is the interaction effect, and it says it's not significant. Got it? So it's not a significant moderator between the two, yet when I get down here to gender, it gives me the same answer that I knew before. So this is women, and it is significant for women. The relationship between therapy sessions and depression for women is significant, but not for men. So the last thing I can think of was to check their scatter plots. One for male, one for female. So I'm going to go to graphs, legacy, scatter. We're going to do simple. And depression is the y-axis. That's the DV. The x-axis is the number of therapy sessions, right? That's your IV. And then we're going to split it up between the genders. And then I'm going to click OK. Okay, there's both of them. I don't know, you probably can't see, but you got red, you got blue, and you got green. Green is male, and blue is female. So how to put the specific lines in there for each gender, you simply double-click. Get the chart wizard up. Hello, Mr. Chart Wizard. And you're going to go to this box right here with all the tentacles. Click close. And there it is right there. So since these two lines are not parallel, it's obvious to me that the relationship between therapy sessions and depression is significantly different between the males and the females. So again, the blue line is this one going down. What this means is the more therapy sessions a female has, the less depression she has. But with the green one, those are the males, it says basically it really doesn't matter how many therapy sessions they have. It does not affect their depression scores. So again, this is acting as a moderator, but officially it is not a moderator because I think the main thing is the sample size probably wasn't big enough. But if you had this data, I would expect you to say that, yes, gender is a moderator between those two variables. That's it. MGZ out.